Hi everyone, this is Mr. Vanderpool. Today we're going to go ahead and move on to section 1.3. We're going to be reading pages 11 through 14, and we're going to be focusing on production possibilities curves, the first graph in this class. So remember, on your piece of paper, name, date, period, upper right hand corner, you're going to go ahead and label this piece of paper section 1.3 production possibilities reading questions. And then we're going to go ahead and answer these 4 questions together. So we're reading page 11 through 14. We're going to go over the section together. We answer these 4 questions completely. And remember that we're going to go ahead and write out the number, write out the question, and we're going to go ahead and answer the question in a complete manner using correct grammar and punctuation, using academic vocabulary, and so forth. Alright, so by now you should be on page 11, and before we go on to production possibilities curves, I want to talk about trade-offs and opportunity costs, just as a quick review. So remember, when we make choices, those choices are called trade-offs. If we decide to do something, we are going to be giving up something else. The most valuable thing we decide to give up is called the opportunity cost. And so now what we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking basically at a graph of this idea of opportunity costs, which is called a production possibilities curve. And it's our first graph we're going to look at in this class. So what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and turn to page 12, because we're going to look at number 1, and what is a production possibilities curve. And take a look at page 12. You can see in red it says production possibilities. It says trade-offs and opportunity costs can be illustrated using a production possibilities curve. A production possibilities curve shows all the possible combinations of 2 goods and services that can be produced within a stated time period given 2 assumptions. So a production possibilities curve is going to take a look at a nation and how a nation is trading off between making 2 different products. And it shows the different combinations of the products that can be made given a certain amount of resources. A production possibilities curve can also be abbreviated and called a PPC. Now, let's talk a little bit about the assumptions that the production possibilities curve is based on. And that is also on page 12, that last line. First, it assumes that the amount of available resource and technology will not change during the period being studied. Okay, so that's the first thing we're going to put for number 2. Okay, it is assumed that the amount of available resources and technology will not change. Okay, so available resources and the amount of technology stays constant. And it's also assumed that the natural, human, and capital resources are used in the most efficient manner possible. If you are on the production possibilities curve, that means that that the nation that is on the PPC is using resources in the most efficient manner possible. So you can go ahead and take down those 2 for number 2. Alright, now I want to go ahead and take a look at our example production possibilities curve. You can see it is on page 13, figure 1.3. Let's take a look at that graph here. It says the production possibilities curve. And what you have on your y-axis, you have the production of economy cars in millions. And on your x-axis, you have the production of luxury cars in millions. And then you have various combinations of economy cars and luxury cars that can be made. Now, if you look at points A, B, C, D, and E, you can see those 5 points are lying on the production possibilities curve. If you have a point that is on the production possibilities curve, then at that point, resources are being used efficiently. So points A, B, C, and D, and E are all considered an efficient use of resources because they lie upon the production possibilities curve. So there are various combinations of things that this country that is producing economy cars and luxury cars can produce given maximum efficiency. So for example, at point A, they're making 5 million luxury cars, they're making 0 economy cars. At point E, they're making 7 million economy cars, they're making 0 luxury cars. Point C, you're looking at about 4.5 million economy cars, about 3 million luxury cars. So as you can see, as you move from point to point, you're giving up some cars, some economy cars to get luxury cars, or you're giving up luxury cars to get economy cars. So this country is trading off between making luxury cars and economy cars. But at any point along that production possibilities curve, at A, B, C, D, or E, this economy is operating at full efficiency. Now there can also be points that are not considered efficient. So for example, at point G, because it lies within the curve, any point that lies within the curve is not an efficient use of resources. So for example, if you look at point G, they can make 3 million economy cars, 2 million luxury cars. They could, if they were fully efficient, they could go out to point C where they're making 4.5 million economy cars and 3 million luxury cars. But for whatever reason, maybe, for example, the economy is in recession, they're not doing that. Okay, so point G or any other point within the PPC is going to be an inefficient use of resources. And then you have points outside of the production possibilities curve. For example, point F. Point F, you're looking at about 5 million economy cars, 5 million luxury cars. With the current amount of resources that this economy has, they cannot produce at point F. F is impossible to produce at with existing resources. So the important thing to remember on a PPC is any point inside of the PPC is going to be an inefficient use of resources. Any point on the PPC is going to be an efficient use of resources. And any point beyond the PPC is going to be impossible to produce with those existing resources. All right, now let's go ahead and move on to number 4. It says, what happens to a production possibilities curve when improvements in technology occur or new resources become available? So if you look on page 14, I want you to look at figure 1.4 where it says a shifting production possibilities curve. If there are improvements in technology, new resources become available. What will happen is there will be an increase in production possibilities curve. In economics, an increase means you're going to shift the curve to the right. So in this case, the production possibilities curve is going to shift to the right. And you can see in figure 1.4, we started at production possibilities curve P1. Then there were improvements in technology. New resources became available. So then the production possibilities curve shifted to the right to P2. So now, after that increase in the production possibilities curve shifting to the right, this economy can now make more both economy cars and luxury cars. They're not necessarily trading off between making economy and luxury cars. They can actually make both. So it's really good for an economy if production possibilities curve shifts to the right. Now, if there's the destruction of technology, destruction of new resources, the production possibilities curve can actually shift to the left, and that would not be a good thing for an economy. All right, fantastic. So we have answered 1 through 4. I'm going to go ahead and check these tomorrow, and then we'll answer a few more questions there. All right? You have a good one, and I will talk to you soon.